Alrighty, how he's going? We have walked to the very, very back of one of our neighbours' properties. This particular property is a couple thousand acres, I think. And so only about another 100 metres from where we are is the boundary line that actually goes up into the national park. So obviously you're not allowed to hunt there. So this is as far as we go. We haven't found much sign out here, so I don't really know where the deer are, but so over the next couple of weeks we've got to find them. That's right, on Saturday I'm going out to another deer block where we always find deer. For whatever reason, there's just always heaps of deer there. And so it's all good. But anyway, we're going to talk about the navigation that Archie's been learning today. So one of the first little tricks I taught him was using your watch, which he doesn't actually have his watch on today. And I've been doing it with him recently, sort of thing. Anyway, we'll do an actual video just on these few things. I was explaining to him where do you point the 12?
You point the 12 at the sun, and then in between the hour hand and the 12 is actually north.
And it works pretty bloody good. Plenty good enough for when you're out bush. Now, the biggest thing when you're out sort of bush, I reckon, a lot of people freak out about getting lost and all that sort of stuff. I reckon you only got to know a few of the handful of basics where, at the end of the day, we live in a place where most of us know where we are, or close enough to, and we really don't live as far away from anything as what most people sort of seem to think that they do. A lot of the time you are stuff all away from a road. The other thing is too, you're very, very close to power lines. It almost doesn't matter where you look, there's always power lines around somewhere, and those power lines go somewhere. So really, worst case scenario is if you got it even just to some power lines and just followed them in one direction, I can almost guarantee you within 10 Ks, you're going to be somewhere. The other thing is too, is as I've been teaching Archie, just like if something happens to me or whatever when we're out bush and that, just follow the creek. The creeks go somewhere. It really doesn't take long. So you've just got to follow the creek bed. Eventually you sort of work out, right, I've been going uphill for a bit, so you're probably going the wrong way. Turn around, go the other way. And again, look, we're on a fairly decent property now. It'd only take you 20 minutes and you'd find one of the houses. So, a lot of the time you're really not that far away. The hardest places to ever navigate really are when you're actually on just ridiculously big land. When you're talking, thousands and thousands of acres and it's flat. That's hard. So really you sort of need to know just your somewhat rough coordinates. And you really don't need to know like anything perfectly. Nothing has to be perfect. A lot of people need to get that out of their head. Like, you do not need to be perfect. You just need to roughly know where north is, have some sort of a half rough map of the property you're on, or the national park, or the state forest, or whatever you're hunting, or wherever you're walking. And really you can just head in like one direction really if you really wanted to. And most of us really aren't that far away from anything. Even if you're on a real big property, as long as you know a handful of the fence lines, that's all you really need to know. Like, you need to know those things. They'll give you a rough map anyway, like where the houses are and stuff like that, where some of the main tracks are and that, and roughly where you are. You know what I mean? Like, you don't just drive into the middle of nowhere. You don't just drive into the middle of the Simpson Desert, get out of your car, and then just start heading north. You know what I mean? Like, well, if you do that, you're a bit of a dumbass, really, aren't you? So you sort of deserve to be lost, I suppose. So navigating doesn't really need to be that tricky, does it?
No.
No, not at all. And so even when you're doing your whole, using your compass, and we'll do an actual proper video on it one day. I just want to do a bit of a brief thing, when we're just showing Archie sort of thing, and like, using your compass to sort of point at something. It doesn't need to be a fancy compass. This one is just like a medium sort of compass. It's not a real fancy one, or not a super crap one. But you've literally just got to roughly know. Like, that's all you need to do. And so the next little episode that we'll do with Archie will be still on navigation, but we're actually going to do like a triangulation. So we'll get into one of these valleys down here, and we're going to do like a triangulation, which is where you use 3 of the peaks that you can find So you mark your map where all your peaks are. That's the easiest thing to do. And then all you're doing is on each peak, to say I'm looking at that peak there, and it's at 320 degrees, say, you just go on your map, and on every single peak, you just draw a line coming off at 320 degrees. All right? Look at another peak. It's at 160 degrees. On every single peak on that whole map, you just draw a line at 160 degrees. And then do one more. And eventually, one of them, they all intersect. That's simple. That's where you are. Pretty basic. And that's called triangulation. And then you can sort of look on the map and go, oh, yeah, right, I'm on that creek bed. Oh, I'm 200 meters from a creek bed. Plenty accurate enough. And you roughly know where you are. And then you just go, I want to bet your line it to roughly northeast and head home, or, you know, wherever you are. And you can get on home. So we're actually going to, pulled up, I don't have my actual big GPS, it's in my hiking pack. So I keep going to eat, I'm starving. But we want to, we'll just see how far we've actually gone today. So it's going to be interesting. Because we're at the very back of this property. We've got to go up and down a few times. And then climb all the way to the top. And then before we came here, actually, we were down on the other side of our property, checking dams. So I think Archie, well, and I will be feeling it when we get home tonight. This means you sleep good, eh? Yeah?
I wake up at the same time every day, no matter what.
Yeah, true. We all do get up nice and early. Alright, so cool. Anyway, so we'll do a real detailed video one day on these couple of navigation things, but these first couple of videos we're just doing a bit of a general thing. And so we're going to have a few little episodes that is going to include Archie, some things that I'll just sort of do. And yeah, show you a few little, just the basics really. Don't need to know anything too fancy, do we?
No.
Nah, life's too short to be too serious. Alright, cheers, we'll see you later on.